Pop culture reigns supreme. With too many podcasts and unsolicited opinions, two friends brave the storm to give you just that. Room 303 presents Revenge of the Pod. With your hosts, the Mexican meat connoisseur, Jason Escudero, the Puerto Rican nerd aficionado, Luigi Orozco. On with the show.
Welcome!
Saludos, amigos.
A nuestra presentación, Revenge of the Pod, brought to you by Room 303 Network. Jason, how you doing, man? How you been?
Doing pretty good, man. It's been a hot minute. We took a couple weeks off, obviously. I was out of town for Easter. Went back down to El Paso and got to meet my new niece, man. She was officially 3 months on March 30th, and she was 6 pounds, dude. She's growing. All she does, bro, is cry, eat, spit up milk, because she drinks it too fast sometimes, and she's cute, man. She looks just like my niece Charlie, bro. It's crazy. Baby's doing great. It was awesome seeing my family. Been pretty cold. We got to see it. We passed the solar eclipse, right? I don't know if you got to see it. Did you get to see it by chance? You did?
Well, It was a little cloudy. But I know you're going to be like, what? But I got to see it with my bare eyes because it was cloudy.
Oh, okay. You shouldn't do that, but still. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, I get you. But it was so cloudy that you couldn't see it.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Right. That it was kind of shining through the clouds, so you could see the crescent of the sun being blocked out slowly by the moon. And then that would disappear for a little bit. So I think our eyes were okay because I haven't had any effects yet. Fair enough.
Definitely want to give a shout out to a Burgess alumni for winning back-to-back championships for the men's college Final Four. Tristan Newton, Aaron Jones's cousin. He won most outstanding player in the Final Four tournament. So yeah, man, shout out to him, man. It's always nice to see a Burgess alum, representing the 915. That was awesome to see.
Mustangs.
Yeah, exactly. Burgess Mustangs, man. Let's go. Shout out to the women's Final Four, man, for getting a huge amount of viewership this past weekend. Lots of that to do with Caitlin Clark. Amazing to watch. I watched a lot of those games. I was rooting for Caitlin Clark. Unfortunately, she couldn't pull out, and South Carolina is able to keep that undefeated record and win a national title. So yeah, shout out to the Gamecocks, man.
Nice.
What'd you get to do?
Well, for Easter, I did make a pulled pork that came out fire. We ate quite a bit of that over the week. Yeah, it was pretty fantastic. Obviously got to have a good time with, my family, wife, daughter, sisters. Missed some family there for sure. I missed some of the El Paso peeps, obviously. Got to spend an Easter with my brother, so that was cool. But other than that, nothing crazy. Work's been work. Kids are ready for holidays, and so am I. So we're just counting down the days at this point. We're all counting down the days.
Summer's almost here, brother.
I'm going to be doing summer school, but yeah, summer is almost here. It's almost here. Summer school is very different from the regular year. So other than that, I don't really have a ton of news. I know that I wanted to mention to you, I think you were one of the people that watches Euphoria, correct?
I do not. I just know the actors in it.
So apparently it's delayed indefinitely.
It's delayed indefinitely.
Yeah, they're gonna do a jump to them after high school because the actors are doing so many other projects, and by the time they come back, they're obviously not going to look like
they're gonna be a lot older.
Enough like they're in high school anymore.
Yeah, it's like Zendaya, that dude from with Barry Keoghan. What's the Saltburn? What's his name?
I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not sure.
That handsome dude. Dude looks like dude's a handsome dude. That's all
Jason
I know.
Momoa, is it that guy?
Yeah. Obviously, Sydney Sweeney's a fan favorite with the dudes. But yeah, I hear like the whole cast is just getting like a lot of acting gigs. I think partly because of Euphoria. I'm not sure. So, for sure Zendaya. That's all I know. Dune 2, right? Massive hit. So yeah, it seems like it's gonna get really expensive to try and bring them all back. So, it happens when they start getting really popular. So,
and then Zendaya, I would assume, would be coming back for Spider-Man 4. So,
and Dune 3.
Yeah, so she's got things on the docket like far into the future as well.
Yeah,
I see why they did it. I know Euphoria fans are going to be pretty bummed out about this, but they didn't say it's not coming back. Sounds like they're still getting a chance to do it.
It sounds like it's gonna be like maybe like a 4-year hiatus, bro.
Yeah, it'll be like remember when they did that with Stranger Things?
Oh yeah, dude, and like the kids just looked way older. Like,
yeah, there was a jump, and you're like, what just happened? This is not a year. This is not a year that's passed in their lives.
Dude, for real.
There's that piece of news that I wanted to hit you with. And I also, this is a bit of old news, but Anthony Mackie commented on the fact that, yes, indeed, he was bummed out that Sebastian Stan is not going to be in Captain America 4. So the only time we're going to see Sebastian Stan looks like is going to be in the Thunderbolts. So that does kind of bum me out because I thought they worked really well together in Captain America and Winter Soldier.
The series?
Yeah.
Well, I know I haven't watched the past couple Marvel movies, if I'm being completely honest. So I don't know. Well, we'll see.
Some lost your love, huh? You lost your love for it?
I guess so, man. I don't know. It just hasn't really. Although I'll see the trailers, they'll hype me up for a minute, and then I just don't go watch it. And then after people they're like, it was okay. I'm like, oh well, I don't know if I'll waste my time gonna go see it then. But that's just how I feel about it. Like I'll get excited. There's a teaser, and like, oh, I'll get really excited, and then end up not watching it. So like a lot of movies, actually, not just Marvel. So a movie that I'm pretty excited about. We got a teaser trailer a couple days ago or yesterday, I can't remember. But Joker 2 with Lady Gaga and Joaquin Phoenix. We get an official date too on October 4th of this year. What were your first thoughts on the trailer?
I've not yet seen the trailer. I've only seen a clip of him laugh or crying to himself in that courtyard. That's what I've seen.
I mean, it's a teaser trailer. It looks very interesting. It looks like, honestly, just based off the trailer, they look like they really work well together. And Harley Quinn looks pretty much like she's in an asylum herself, and she looks a little crazy, and it looks like, their crazy comes together and it's going to work out in some way. I don't know if they're both like, I don't know. Like, I didn't think we needed a Joker sequel until we saw this trailer, this teaser, and I was like, okay, you know what? I can see how they can make it work. They both have like hallucinogens. I don't know. Like, it's just, and they were first saying that it was gonna be like a musical, but then the director said like, no, it's very music themed. So like, yes, maybe, but like not fully a musical. So I don't know. We'll see. It looked really good. I'm very excited for it. Definitely gonna go watch it. Check out the trailer, Luigi. Any listeners out there, check it out. It's pretty cool. Again, it's just a teaser trailer. You're not gonna get anything else out of it, but it was pretty interesting. Some other stuff that did pop up as well was Toy Story 5 gets a release date. I know this is pretty old news, but it's going to come out June 19th of 2026. Toy Story 5. Honestly, man, they should have stopped at Toy Story 3, although I did like Toy Story 4. But
I liked it, but it was very unnecessary.
Yeah, Forky was cool, not going to lie.
Forky was cool.
It was relatable. We're all trash, uh, uh, oh, sorry. Yeah, another release date. They finished wrapping up season 4 of The Boys. Looks like editing, all that stuff too, ready to go, ready to release June 13th, 2024. I'm excited for that. Super pumped for that. Can't wait for season 4. People, if you haven't watched Gen V yet, I think it's going to tie into The Boys. So I recommend you watch Gen V if you haven't. It's the spinoff series of The Boys about, superheroes in college and trying to become superheroes. If you haven't watched that, definitely watch that. I definitely think it'll tie into season 4 of The Boys. Very excited for that. In other news, I want to go back into Marvel and kind of just jumping around all over the place. The Silver Surfer gets casted, man. And it's not who you think it was. Julia Garner, the chick that played one of the characters in Ozarks, the blonde-haired chick. So, yeah, we're going to have a female Silver Surfer, man. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I know there's a version of her in the comics, but I don't know much about her. I'll wait until I see the movie to have an opinion right now. Because I'm just like, well, okay.
Yeah, from what I was reading, right, the main Silver Surfer dude, like the character, leaves the planet and decides to work with, what's his name, Galactus? No, it's not Galactus. Is it? Yeah, and he has to work for him. If not, he'll kill his true love, which is the character, the female. I forgot the name of the character, but apparently that they're just going to swap it. And
that's interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know, but those are just like rumors. So I don't know. We'll see. She's a great actress. I mean, I've seen Ozark season 1, and she killed it. So, I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see. Another thing, one that I'm really excited about, to all my Star Wars fans out there, the Mando and Grogu movie is set to release on May 22nd of 2026. So we're gonna see Grogu and Mando on the silver screen, bro.
2026. Dang, that's
it's pretty far, but I think there's gonna be like other stuff in between to kind of like tease like what's going on to build up the story.
Yeah, are we getting another season of Mandalorian before then, or
I don't know, man. I really don't know.
a long time to go between the show and okay, well, Star Wars,
I mean, you also have Pedro Pascal in a lot of stuff too, so
yeah. Well, they've done well with Mando so far. They've had some pretty decent shows. The cartoons have done some decent stuff. So I'm not going to say that I think it's a bad idea that they don't, but I am wondering what the plan is exactly. So we'll see how that goes too.
Right. Well, then let's get into some good trailers, some that you're excited about. So what you got for us, bro?
Well, before we do that, I just wanted to add on to the Star Wars thing. We know that there's going to be a crossover movie after that, right? I'm wondering if we're going to see Ahsoka in the Mando movie. I'm wondering if we're going to see maybe a character that we are currently watching grown up.
Oh,
movie. That'd be interesting to see. So
that would be crazy.
I need them to have some sort of build up to this movie, because if we go that long without Mando, it's just a different landscape. It's not going to be the same as if they released it maybe next year,
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, that's kind of too long to kind of wait for it. But hey, production again, Pedro Pascal's a busy man right now. Busy man.
Last of Us season 2.
Last of Us season 2, Fantastic Four. Pretty sure he has other projects going on.
I wonder if they're going to call him Ricardo.
Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know.
No, Luigi, no.
Dick Reed.
Sorry, go ahead.
Dick Reed,
Yeah, maybe.
Or Reed Dick.
Speaking of Pedro Pascal, though, Gladiator 2, did you see the trailer?
Yeah, it was very interesting, man. Question is, who is Pedro Pascal? He's gonna play. Is he Lucius
That's what it looks like. Yeah,
He's the
Lucius.
little boy.
I don't know how he's like. Whose son is he? Whose son is he exactly?
It's Joaquin Phoenix's sister, and she had the kid Lucius. And we don't know who the dad was, but it was rumored that Maximus was the dad.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering as well. They kind of made it sound like that's who it's gonna be, right? It
Right.
wasn't just me that felt that, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, because I was like, wait a second, is he Maximus's son? That's pretty dope. Because I mean, what a way to make me invested in the main character by putting Pedro Pascal in there. Like, just speaking to the guy, I'm like, oh yeah, my boy Pedro. So yeah, I'm excited for that. I don't know much more than that. It looks like another story of revenge, which I'm totally okay with. Ridley Scott back to helm. It looks like he did a pretty good job. You got any thoughts on it, man?
Just looked really intense, man. Again, not much was given to us, but just like the epic scenes of like in the Roman arena where like the gladiators fight. So I'm guessing we're gonna get some more epic fights within the arena. That looked dope. And like you said, just like another revenge story and kind of just plots, twists and stuff that we're probably gonna see. I don't know. I think we're just gonna get a lot more out of it.
Was that kind of it felt like there was moments where it seemed like there might be a mounting like gladiator rebellion, kind of like Spartacus. Was that?
Yeah, it feels like that.
Okay. Yeah, because there were moments where I was looking at that, I was like, are they going to follow kind of like a almost Spartacus storyline? What are we doing here? What's this? Where's this going? So I'm interested. I loved Gladiator. That's one of my favorite movies all time. It used to be my favorite. So I'm definitely excited to see the next one. You know me and period pieces, man. They can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to go on to my next one. It is called The Watchers. It is an M. Night Shyamalan project. He is not directing, though. It looks like someone related to him is directing this. Have you seen the preview for this?
I have not. For The Watchers.
Yeah, The Watchers. And it's directed by Ishana Night Shyamalan. Ishana Night Shyamalan is, if I'm gonna make sure that I don't say something incorrect, but I think she is his daughter. That is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. So he is backing her first project. It looks very much like an M. Night Shyamalan project. Like if you watch it, it's got some like eerie, either sci-fi, thriller, horror, mystery type of thing going on that you're not quite sure what is happening. So I'm interested to see where this movie goes and if she can do some of the things her dad did on the screen.
Yeah, it looks very creepy.
Yeah, it does. It looks definitely like it's in the horror thriller realm, delving into the unknown. Speaking of horror thriller realm, delving into the unknown, this one's more of a action piece. But have you seen, once again, the Crow remake trailer?
I've not seen the Crow remake trailer, but I've seen the Crow, the original.
So Bill Skarsgård is going to be the main character. And it looks pretty cool, man. Like it looks like a horror, maybe, or thriller horror action movie. And I'm here for it. I really hope that they make a soundtrack that was as good as the soundtrack that they did for the original. Because the original came out, I think it was in '92, and they brought,
while back, yeah.
And they brought out all of these like up and coming '90s groups that just knocked it out of the park with the soundtrack. Shout out to Nine Inch Nails; they were on it too, and they really set a standard for me. That was one of the first soundtracks that I checked out that I was like, oh wait, they could do a lot with soundtracks. Low key, Twilight soundtracks, pretty good. I know you're probably thinking, what's this guy saying? But nah, man, they had big names on those soundtracks.
There's a song by the Killers. I forgot which movie it was. I think it was the second one or third one. I can't remember, but it was a great fucking song by the Killers. It's called White Demon or some shit like that.
They had the Black Keys. They had Beck.
Yeah.
They had all kinds of people show up on those soundtracks.
I'm not to agree with you on that one. Other than that movie was ass. Those movies were ass.
The first one was all right. The second one,
Yeah.
I was like, I can't sit through this movie. I can't. It's ruined all of it for me. It's all ruined. And I couldn't get over the glittering part. I really was like, oh, that's
bro. Even Robert Pattinson hated those movies.
I think he hated them more because he couldn't be a normal person. Like he was getting
no, he dude, he has interviews where like he says he's like yeah, when I started reading this book and I was like, yo, this girl, the girl that wrote this book, like she's just horny and like she sees herself as Bella, like she has some weird ass thoughts. Like he thought like the book were not good and stuff. Like he's on the record for saying he didn't like those movies, dude.
That's
and
interesting.
Yeah. So
I mean, he's a weird guy, so that's kind of weird to say. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of the movies, but that's ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would venture to guess that this next one will have a pretty decent soundtrack. I'm hoping if they really stay true to it, but we'll find out. Moving on to the next thing that I saw. So Bill Skarsgård is coming out in a few things. I don't know if you saw another preview from Bill Skarsgård. Gosh, I thought you had written it down.
Boy Kills World.
Yes. Have
that
you
looks
seen the preview for this?
That looks fucking weird, bro.
Yeah, it does. And I'm here for it. I want to see it. I want to see what happens. It looks like a crazy action movie. And
that comes out on the 26th of this month, so April 26th. It's crazy because Bill Skarsgård does not say a single word in this movie. Actually, I don't think he does because he's a mute. And but he does talk within his head, and it's not Bill Skarsgård's voice. It's actually H. John Benjamin. For those of you guys who don't know who that is, he's the person that voices main characters such as Bob from Bob's Burger and Archer from Archer. Yeah, Sterling Archer from Archer.
Okay.
Yeah. He's like a comedic actor. He has a very distinct voice, so it's very interesting to see like Bill Skarsgård's character, but like being kind of voiced by that character. You know, just picture Bob's Burgers character from Bob's Burgers character, just voicing that character. You know, it's just very interesting. Pretty gory. Feels like a Sisu type, John Wick type of movie. So I'm fucking excited for that. Is there anything else that you want to highlight on that you saw?
No, I just thought that that trailer looked wild, and I can't wait to watch it. So I definitely wanted you to bring it up after the Crow because they looked. And I mean, they both got Bill Skarsgård, and they both look just trippy. They look like something else, and they're both action movies. So he's got a little niche this year that he's falling into, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, he played It, you know, so he's just kind of, he knows how to play like weird characters, you know, he really goes really deep into it. So, yeah, he just looks completely different in all the roles that he does. And that's kind of what you want to see in an actor, right? You don't want to get, what's it called? Stuck in a certain aspect of a character, right? Like if it was me, if I was in Hollywood, maybe I'm a cholo for the rest of my life in a movie. You know, I always play a cholo, whatever it may be, you know.
I play your cholo friend.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he plays very different roles and, you know, very challenging roles, and you kind of want to see that. So, in a young actor. So, yeah.
I'm always willing to watch some random action movie that should be a B movie with an A-list actor.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I did want to mention another movie that may not quite be this, but it's called Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This is starring, directed by Guy Ritchie. So you know the style. Definitely thinking of Rock and Rolla, thinking of Snatch, thinking of The Gentleman. It looks very much in that vein in terms of the style. Like it's got tons of swagger, very British, starring Henry Cavill, Alan Ritchson. It looks like I don't know who this gentleman is, but he's got the name Fiennes, so I'm wondering if he's related to Ralph Fiennes. Hero Fiennes Tiffin. It's got Isa Gonzalez, Henry Golding, Carrie Ools. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name correctly. Then we've also got Till Schweiger and a few other names that look familiar, but I don't recognize them name-wise. And it's pretty much a top secret unit that uses like crazy ways of fighting the Nazis during World War II. I'm interested in watching this one. It looks like, again, another crazy action film. I love me some action, so we're getting some good action films coming out right now. And if you like Henry Cavill and Alan Ritchson, I mean, two just gigantic men, they're gonna be in this movie doing some crazy things. So I'm excited for it. And again, period piece. Like I said, Jason.
Yeah, World War II movies. Those are always fun.
Yeah, can't go wrong. And it looks like it's got comedy. So I know we won't see a whole lot of Holocaust stuff. It'll be more of a maybe Inglorious
Nazis
thing.
Like Inglorious Bastards killing Nazis.
Killing that Gorlami. Yeah, that was pretty great. I wanted to see what your opinion was on this. Drew Goddard, the guy that made The Martian and several other projects, but that was one of the ones he was named as. He's going to helm the next Matrix installment. He actually pitched the idea to Warner Brothers, and they were down. Do you think they should have let Matrix lay out to pasture, or what do you think of this next installment?
Honestly, man, I don't know because I didn't see the fourth installment. I heard it was pretty trash, so I didn't bother.
It was all right.
It was all right.
It felt very much like it was made, and everyone making it was like, we know you're just going for a cash grab. So I don't know. I was like,
I heard it was like extremely woke, but that's just coming from my friends, certain friends. So I don't know.
Shocker.
You know, and that's not what turned me off. I just heard like it just wasn't a good movie. Like
that was the bigger issue. I was like, there's not really much to this movie. Like I haven't wanted to rewatch it. You know, I haven't been like, man, let me just jump back into that. And I like The Matrix. I think it's cool. The first one was really cool. The second one was awesome until the end, and I was really annoyed with the ending. Third one was all right. This fourth one, not as good.
Dude, Matrix Reloaded, the second one with the battle with the ghosts. That was dope scene.
The ghosts?
With like this, yeah, I think they were ghosts, right? They were like the two white twins with like the white dreadlocks and the white suits.
Oh yeah, that's right. Dude,
that was badass.
I thought most of the scenes in that second movie were badass. I really liked the first one, and again, second one all the way up to the end. At the end of the second one, I was like, what? That's how you're going to end this movie? That's not an end. So, I mean, I don't know. I hope that he does something interesting with it because the world and the idea are very cool. So I think they could do something interesting with it, and he's a good writer. So I'm definitely interested in seeing that one. Another project that's in the works right now, Maggie Gyllenhaal is directing her own spin on Bride of Frankenstein. Christian Bale is playing the monster. The cast also includes Jessie Buckley, who's going to play the Bride of Frankenstein. Penelope Cruz and Peter Skarsgård are all involved in it. It looks like it's not set in London or anywhere in Europe. This one's actually set in Chicago. In, I think, the 1930s, if I'm not mistaken. So it have a very different feel. I'm hoping that it comes out good. I think Maggie Gyllenhaal, I'll give her a chance. I like her acting. I think her brother is a great actor as well. So it's a good acting family. Christian Bale is the monster. I'd love to see that. So I'm definitely going to give it a chance when it comes out. It sounds like it's going to be an art house film for sure, though.
Okay. I haven't seen anything on it, so I'm going to have to check that out.
And last but not least, Jason, you'll be excited to hear this one. Daredevil Born Again has wrapped filming. It's a wrap, baby. We're finally going to get to see Daredevil back and on Disney Plus.
I heard there was rumors that Punisher might come out in that.
One can only hope. I'm hoping they bring Punisher
with Bernthal
and Luke Cage back. Even bring Iron Fist back in there. I don't care. Bring him back. Bring him back. Bring the whole crew back. I'm fine with it. But I didn't hate him that much, so I'd be interested to see. But yeah, they've finished filming, so we'll get a lot of answers to that very, very soon.
Sweet. Now, to keep it in the Marvel realm, will Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man Within, a Spider-Verse story, is a short film that's coming out. I don't know if it came out already, but there was a teaser trailer to it. It seems pretty interesting, very much into the Spider-Verse type of realm. But it's going to be a short film. I think it follows like a different type of story for like a different Miles Morales or other Spider-Man. But it looks very interesting based off of like some of the clips that I saw. I didn't see the whole short teaser for the short film, but that should be coming out soon. I think it's going to be available on YouTube if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure. But check that out. Look it up. It's pretty interesting. Another one, a trailer that I saw that I'm not really too hyped about is, but for my action fans out there, Bad Boys 4 set to come out June 7th of this year. Based off the trailer, man, it looks really cheesy, bro. Like they're making Martin Lawrence look like a shitty cop, bro. Like just very scared, like scared of action and like just too much of that comedic relief. I don't know, man. It did not look good. It did not look good at all. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and it's hard to sell Will Smith as the badass right now. I don't know if that makes sense. Because watching him, I was like, why don't I believe this right now?
Yes.
So I was like,
he's a lot older, you know. It's just kind of tough, man. It seems like a money grab, and like I don't think anyone's gonna go see that.
I mean, we'll find out. I think the studio is which studio is releasing this because that's a bit of a reach. Feels like
I have no idea, honestly, bro. No idea.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I don't understand. You just don't understand. I don't have a whole lot to give on that. Sony is distributing. I don't know what. I mean, I think Sony just doesn't have enough IP right now. I guess I don't know why they don't delve into more of their games. Just do that. You've got great games. Turn your games into shows. Last of Us worked out really well.
Put more money into the games, bro. Like clearly the movies aren't working out for you. Minus Spider-Man, that's fine. But you know, some other movies are just kind of hit or miss.
Last of Us is pretty solid.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Lastly, before we get into our TV land that I have, unless you have anything else, Asphalt City, man. That movie came out, I think already. It came out March 29th, if I'm not mistaken. It's out in theaters. But it's with Sean Penn and Ty Sheridan, the kid from Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Yep. And also Kelly Reyes. She's the detective from True Detective Season 4.
Okay.
The one with the piercings on her cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that theater, in that movie. And shout out to Eric, man. He was the best one that explained it after watching this trailer. It seems like this trailer is like Training Day, but for firefighters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sean Penn is the old retired dude, firefighter, and then Ty, he plays like the young firefighter that like is hungry to like, you know, help others, but like Sean Penn has like already seen it, and then they connect and somehow, but like it seems very action packed. It seems like there's a lot of stuff going on within that realm, and like EMTs and stuff like that, you know, whether, you know, trying to save people's life that are like in like the slums and stuff. And like, I don't know, it just looks very intense, and like just like their lifestyle and like the intense stuff that they can possibly go through. Obviously it's a movie, so they intensify it, but it just looks very interesting. It looks very much so like Training Day, but for firefighters.
I mean, that sounds interesting enough. I guess we'll have to check in to see how it is.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
I gotta. I wish I could give a review on it, but it looked very interesting. So I just wanted to tell the listeners out there, hey, if you need a movie to watch this weekend, maybe go check that out.
you know what I miss is the dollar movies, because that sounds like one of those that I might just drop into the dollar movies to watch.
Yeah, and now it's probably a $5 movie, right? They don't call it
Yeah,
dollar.
yeah. I could even do $5 movies. It's just they're all $12 now. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it's a little more than I'm willing to do right now to take a gamble. Although I took some gambles these past couple weeks, and they played out pretty well for me. We'll talk about those in a minute.
Yeah,
Let's
quite a bit.
let's get into your TV land, Jason. I think you got plenty to tell us about. Jason, what's going on first in Bad Batch?
Bad Batch, Star Wars. All right. So not much. Well, a couple stuff's going on. Right. We figure out Omega. She's the clone, the little girl that's with the Bad Batch. Turns out she has a very high. If we didn't already talk about this, turns out she has a really high M count. M counts is what's in your body that can potentially have you wield the Force. So you may be Force sensitive. What's really important about Omega is she's a clone. So somehow within the experiments, they were able to clone someone with M counts. So that's very significant going later on into the story, right? How does Palpatine return? Because he's a clone, right? M counts, all this stuff. Guys, tie it in. It's going to tie in. We already know this. Well, so she's very important to the Empire. So that's why they're hunting her down. We run into Asajj Ventress from the Clone Wars. Turns out she's not with the Empire anymore, and that's who Fennec Shand was reached out to see like what she's all about. And yeah, Asajj Ventress turns out that she's not with the Empire anymore. She actually was never bad or good. She has a really good confrontation with the Bad Batch. How like it was like, hey, we were the Republic, we were the Separatists. Turns out none of them were bad. They were just both fighting for what they believed in, and within inside grew the empire that are truly evil, right? So you kind of see that within that episode of like who's good, who's bad, which I thought was very interesting. Fast forward to a few more episodes. Again, they're still trying to get Omega. They end up capturing her. We run into the familiar face, Cad Bane. Shout out Cad Bane. You can hear it's him right away when he's if you need a really good bounty hunter, who do you call? You call Cad Bane. He's technically capturing all these little other kids with M counts, so he's just doing it for the money. He doesn't care. Truly an evil person. But yeah, that's pretty much what we get to see. Omega gets captured again. She lets herself get captured to save the planet that they were using as a sanctuary, and so others wouldn't get killed. So she let herself get captured, and she gets back into the place that she was trapped. Sees that evil dude again, and she sees that Nala Se. Shout out Nala Se, the alien with the long neck. She doesn't get much love, man. How much she tried protecting Omega, and yeah, then that's kind of what we last see Omega. A lot of filler episodes, but it's definitely leading up to the final 3 episodes and what we're going to see again, tying into what's going to happen to Omega. Does she live? Does she die? She's definitely going to be a key piece into trying to reclone a Palpatine. I think that's where it's going to lean to, and it's pretty obvious. Anyone that watches everything Star Wars probably has to agree with me. If you don't agree with me, tell me why you don't agree. I would love to hear Star Wars fans' thoughts on that. But yeah, kind of just catching you up, Luigi. I know you haven't watched a few of them, so that was kind of the gist of all the episodes that we missed. So
I was hoping for a recap so that I didn't have to go through the filler episodes a little bit. So
they're good. They're good. They're a little boring, but they're good. So
yeah, see, that's where I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not that dedicated on that one. I'm dedicated on something else, which you were like, you could totally ruin it for me. I don't care, and that's I will get to in a moment.
Well, do you want to talk about the cartoon first, or do you want to talk about the samurais first?
I want to talk about Invincible.
You want to talk about Invincible?
Invincible, baby.
Yeah, so we got the season finale of Invincible the last time we posted. I think there was 2 episodes that came out before us talking about this. So kind of leading up to it, right? I'll let you take it from here, Luigi.
Yeah. So, I mean, a few things have happened in the time that Mark was obviously with his dad and then dealing with those Martian creatures, which, by the way, we saw made their way back. They're coming back at some point or another. We just don't know when. And there's a lot of build up to a lot of different enemies. But the one that we were left on in the episode right before the finale was Angstrom. Am I saying his name correct? Angstrom.
Yes. Angstrom Levy.
Yeah. So Angstrom Levy. I thought it was Levy. Anyway, finally tries to get his revenge on Mark and is in his home pretty much holding his mother and brother hostage and throwing him into several different dimensions. This was a big moment for a lot of comic fans. I hear that in the comic book, he actually sees Spider-Man. There's not this version of Spider-Man and Doc Ock. It's actually Spider-Man and Doc Ock, which is amazing. I would have loved to have seen that on the screen.
You know why they couldn't do that, right?
Copyrights with Marvel and Disney,
Yes.
I'm guessing. Oh, and Sony. Actually, Sony probably didn't want to play nice. So we didn't get a whole lot of that. But we did see a version of him, and we all knew who they were talking about. We see Batman, we see talking dinosaurs, we see so many different versions that he gets thrown into while Angstrom is trying to fight him and actually breaks his mother's arm like nasty and talks about how he's going to kill his brother. What did you think in that whole sequence? I was kind of surprised at how evil Angstrom Levy went. You see why as he goes through all the memories of the different versions of himself. But at the same time, I was like, man, he's really going dark and fast.
Well, another thing that I really liked about his character, Angstrom Levy's, was the fight within himself. Because yes, there's a version of himself that sees Mark Grayson do all these terrible things, but there's also other Armstrong Levies within himself with other dimensions that see the good in Mark Grayson. So he's like fighting with himself, and he's like, no, this person's an evil person. Like Mark Grayson deserves to die. And then there's other versions of himself that's like, no, you don't know the Mark Grayson that we know. Like he can be good. This is one of the good ones. So it was kind of nice to see that turmoil within himself, and just like how all these different world, different universes can lead you to be a certain person, which I loved. Honestly, if I was Armstrong Levy, I would have just sent him out to another dimension and just let him fucking rot there, bro. You know?
Yeah, I don't think he had
like
to keep
that's how you defeat him.
Yeah, that was his mistake. That really was. I thought the same thing. I thought there was only one version of Mark that's actually good, and that's the one that we have, though. That's what they kept alluding to. Even Mark's mom says it at one point. She's like, you make it sound like there's only one version of Mark that's a good guy. And what's killing you is that you're the bad guy in this version. And that's when he breaks her arm.
There
and she's
you
like,
go. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Like the buildup was crazy. You love the acting, bro. Like just the character developments with every single character, man. They really take their time. I love it, dude.
Yeah, and when he finally gets into his last sequence of the battle with Armstrong Levy, and he's fighting in that barren planet, and he just beats him. Finally, he just lets loose because he thought he was stronger, and he lets loose and just almost him to death, literally to death, and he thinks he's stuck there. The trunk goes through.
Yeah, so a little fun fact on that one: in the comics, they actually show what Grayson does to his face. It's pretty gnarly, dude. Comic book fans that would read those comics, they were like saying, I kind of wish they would have showed it. Like you insinuate, right, with all the blood, you can kind of see like how gnarly it was, but like in the comic, it looks messed, like his jaw's like over here and just splattered everywhere. Like it looks very intense. So like when he stops himself and he looks like, oh my God, I thought you were a lot stronger. Like I think it would hit a little bit more, but maybe, it's still a cartoon in Amazon Prime, but it's rated R, it's rated M for mature. I don't know. Maybe they could have shown it, but also I do appreciate like we get what he did. Like, he was so mad at himself. Like, I thought he was stronger, and he just didn't hold back. You know, his dad, Nolan, was telling him, you can't hold back your punches anymore. The people are going to come and try and kill you. And that was the first moment where he did not hold back his punches, and he's mad at himself. We start seeing that, like, that's why Mark is like, I'm becoming like my dad. But sometimes you have to do things like that, right? So I don't know.
But I love that he's still holding on to his morals, because it shows the difference between and other Viltrumites, right? It shows that he can't just be like them because he has a higher sense of morality than the Viltrumites do. Which, by the way, those Viltrumites, they're on their way. You could tell they're going to be visiting very soon, and he's going to need his dad and Alan to help him out in that struggle.
Well, yeah, and they even sent a warning to Mark to see how he's doing, if he's taking over the world. They sent a female Viltrumite called Anissa. Very scary, first of all. She just comes in right away getting ready to kill Amber. It's like, if you don't come with me now, I'm just going to kill her. And then they have that whole conversation. It's like, Viltrumites actually are here to help. And, you know, it's kind of like a Thanos type of thing. Like, yeah, we can stop wars. We can stop hunger. We can do all this. This is what Viltrumites do when they conquer worlds. They just don't understand that, because they want to, you know, be able to have that power. But we can stop wars. We can stop them from fighting each other. And that's what she's trying to tell Mark. And Mark kind of is like, well, if you're in it to try and help and save lives, then you're good in some way, right? So I feel like we're going to see more of Anissa. And I kind of read ahead of like how important Anissa is and what she does to Mark. So that sounds very like, I'm very excited to see how they play that out. But yeah, her character, we're going to see her a lot more.
Yes. Yeah, I hope we definitely see more of her, because she was like extremely powerful. That was impressive. That being said, it showed that Mark has a long way to go. And even when it came into the finale, I mean, we see, first off, that's why him and Amber pretty much broke up. Like, we can tell that's over. It's done. She said, I can't live in your world, and we all understand why. Like, makes sense. Yeah, you probably can't. And that leads us back to that barren land, when he gets visited by future versions of the Guardians of the Globe. And Adam Eve tells him, I've always loved you. Please don't leave that girl hanging. And when is he going to say something? Because at the end of that season, he does not say anything to her. He thinks about it, but he does not say anything. So I wonder what he's...
It's like, tell her you love her, or tell her you don't. Just tell her something.
Mm-hmm. So I'm interested in seeing what he's going to do there. Say what?
It's like, you know, why is he holding back? And it's because, like, there's bigger things to it, you know, like he's trying to keep people safe. So maybe that's why he holds back. I don't know.
I think there's a lot going on for him right now, and if he complicated his one, like, pure friendship, I think that might be difficult for him in the moment.
That is true. We also see Alan the alien get captured on purpose, because he's a lot stronger now.
Yeah.
And he gets captured on purpose because he wants to meet up with Omni-Man, Nolan, and to tell her, it's like, hey, I already spoke to Mark. We were going to try and get you out of here. We have a feeling that we have enough people to fight against the Viltrumites now. Like, we need your help. So that was very interesting. Do they escape? I can't remember. Or they're getting ready to escape?
It looks like they're about to start hatching a plan. They've just been communicating with each other. And he pretty much said, I'm here for you now. And they're ready to... It sounded like Omni-Man was not quite... he wanted to atone. And Alan is like, yo, this is the way to atone. Like, you can atone by helping us defeat the Viltrumites. And so I think he might be ready, because he said he misses his wife. So I think he's going to come back. And we're going to see how Mark's mom reacts to seeing Omni-Man after all the things he said and did. It's true. It's pretty unforgivable what he's done. So I don't know what he's going to expect when he comes back.
How long do you think we're going to have to wait for season 3?
I'm going to hope that we only have to wait a year and a half.
I hope so too, man, because it's really good, and it's I do like the little things that they do to like make fun of like animation movies, like shows too, right? Like they tell you the secrets of creating anime shows and like just the references again to the comics. Like it was just overall, man, it was a really great season. I was pissed that they gave us 4 episodes, stopped it halfway, and then gave us another 4 later. But honestly, it was worth the wait, dude, because it got us talking again. And now, like, maybe they did a break for us because they're like, all right, let us take our time with this next this next season, but it won't feel that long because we spread out season 2 for you guys. You know, like that's kind of how it felt.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm ready for the next season. I hope we get it sooner rather than later. We're going to keep you guys updated on news on that. Moving on to Shogun. Shogun is in its last 2 episodes. Episode 8 premiered this week, guys. The week of April 8th. It premiered on April 9th. Depending on when you're watching this, it's different times away from you. But that is when it premiered, and we are to a point where Toranaga is cornered. He is cornered by his enemies. He has been surrounded. His forces decimated by earthquakes. The
betrayal of his brother. Yeah.
The betrayal of his brother. A lot of infighting within his own group. But also you see that there is something underneath the surface he is trying to do, and they are working their way towards that. What do you think you're going to end up seeing in these next few episodes? I can't say much. What I will say is we've seen a significant decrease in John Blackthorne's presence because it seems like he's no longer as necessary to connect us to the characters as he was before. But we're definitely seeing a mounting tension that is going to crescendo in one of the largest battles one of the largest and most important battles in Japanese history. What do you think is going to happen, Jason?
What do I think is going to happen? So, well, before I kind of get into that, shout out to Mariko's story. Mariko. Her storyline and how she grew up, and like you just, because the last time we talked, we didn't talk about that, and just like how long she came up to where she needed to be, you know, like, and like how she became that Baturo's wife and stuff like that. Bro, she'd been through some turmoil. All she wanted to do was to die. With that being said, I think she plays an important part, as we see at the end of this last episode, where Toranaga is talking to her, is like, now's your time. Can you still do what I need you to do? And she's like, all right, bet. Well, she didn't say it like that, but you know what I mean. But what I think happens, I think Toranaga's side loses.
Okay.
I don't know the history. You do. You're not going to tell me what happens, but that's my prediction.
I won't say anything.
It's the show. It's the show, right? Like it kind of sets us up to be like, hey, yeah, here's the site that we want to root for. This is what's going to happen. It's not going to happen like that.
Game of Thrones style?
Yeah. So,
I mean, again, the stories are very similar, right? Even in history, Game of Thrones is based on the Civil War in England, known as the War of Roses. And this is based on like several hundred years of civil wars of Japan, and both of them lead to the unification of an island country. So there's a lot of comparisons to be made historically and in terms of literature with these 2 pieces. I think there's a lot of moving pieces. Shout out to the scene where Buntaro tries to tell Mariko, let's die together tonight. And she's like, I'd rather live 1,000 years than die with you. I was like,
go to hell with you or some shit like that. It's like, that's how much she fucking hates you, bro.
Yeah, man. I was like, that is savage. That is savage. But you know what? At least she was finally truthful. She was finally like, no, this is how I feel. I will not die with you. You
like, I don't love you like that. Never loved you like that. Fuck you, piece of shit, pretty much. Drop the mic on his ass.
And he's a great fighter. So Toranaga needs him. But you can tell, I don't think he's going to have a good end. his dad committed seppuku to keep a story concealed, so that Ishido can think that he's really going to surrender, which I'm excited to see the outcome of, because I think there's going to be a huge tide turn once they're about to take those cannons to Osaka. I think those cannons are all going to be manned and ready to go against Ishido's forces right when Toranaga is arriving into the city.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like you said, that secret that Harimutsu, what he did in order to keep that fight alive, that's crazy. Like, you kill yourself in order to save like your lord, right? And like within your, I guess, fighting for what's right within, I guess, your country, I guess, your clan, to keep, to keep within that power to, keep others safe. I don't know, man. That scene was very intense. And then we were like, oh my God, like Toranaga is really giving up. Like, I thought that until, we see him later talk to Mariko. And then like, he's like, yeah, Harimutsu knew what he needed to do in order to make sure that this happened. We needed that dude to like think that I actually am giving up, because a lot of people still held hope until that last moment, and he needed them to think not that wasn't happening for strategy reasons. That shit was crazy, man. Blew my mind.
Yeah, I think he knows that there's a spy in his ranks, and that's why he did it. Hiromatsu just committing suicide. I mean, that's a real one right there. God, I was pretty surprised to see that was all part of a plan, and how depressing it was to watch that happen.
Dude, and his son having to chop off his own head too, Baruto? Yeah, Buntaro.
Yeah, dude, it's just a depressing show, but honestly, fantastic to watch. I'm ready to see that final battle, though. I'm ready to see a large-scale samurai battlefield. So I'm excited to see what comes out in these next 2 episodes.
Yeah, I'm excited for those fight scenes, man. I'm all about that action. Let's go.
So I'm going to throw a few things that I've been watching at you real quick, Jason. I am watching Bridgerton with Gabby, because season 3 of Bridgerton, ladies, is coming out this May. So if you did not know this, it's happening. It's going down. And turns out, Jason, watching Bridgerton, there's some things that we as guys do that apparently women find attractive, and I had no idea. There we are. So I'm learning some things.
Like what? Fart?
Say what?
Like fart?
Yeah, how'd you know? That's crazy. I love that. Like when you fart in the covers and then like cover them.
Yeah, I don't do that, but yeah.
I don't either, but that's apparently what we should do, according to Bridgerton. No, I'm just kidding. There's definitely some things that just you do like without thinking about it, and apparently those are attractive things. I was laughing about it with my wife the other day. I was talking to Gabby, and I was just like, that you think that's attractive? That's just a regular thing. She's like, no, it is. I was like, that's interesting. I did not know this. And then I laughed real hard at one of the scenes that they did for the ladies, because Regé-Jean Page is in season 1, right? And it was just so. I'd have to give it away. He's on a horse, and he's got the dumbest look on his face, but it's for all the ladies. And Gabby was like, "No, it works." I was like, "What?" He looks so full of it, like so ridiculous and full of it. What? He's like, "Yeah, maybe that's just a him thing. I don't think everybody could pull that one off." I was like, "All right, I guess so." But it's been a fun watch. It's been a good time enjoying that with her, and it is a pretty good love story. So, recommend for those of you who are watching with a couple. Definitely worth the watch. Godzilla X Kong came out a couple weeks ago. Jason, I watched it. I liked it. Is it a good movie? No. But will I watch it again? Yes. So I don't know what to tell you. If they put it on HBO Max, I'm like, yeah, throw that on in the background. I'll be popping in on every fight scene. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about the dialogue, but there isn't much of that this time around. So I really enjoyed it. I liked the introduction to new characters. And this was a Kong movie. Love King Kong. Finally, he got his due. And he got himself an iron glove. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. If I'm being realistic, it was closer to a 5, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
I know. Yeah, I saw some clips on my TikTok. I'm like, this looks terrible, but
Yeah,
awesome at the same time. I don't know.
that's what it is. I mean, remember watching those terrible action movies or monster movies as a kid? Like,
Never.
what?
I don't remember them any of them being terrible.
Oh,
Just kidding.
okay. So it's very much like that. I'm like, oh, they're still making these movies. Speaking of remakes, Roadhouse remake on Amazon. You watched that yet?
No, not yet. I hear it's I get some mixed reviews on that.
And dare I say, I would give it a 6.6. Pretty solid watch. Again, I would rewatch. I don't know if I'd rewatch the whole movie just because I'm like, oh, that's a lot of effort. But there are scenes in that movie that I'm like, again, a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, I think it's got a better storyline than Godzilla vs. Kong. But also, they're not giant Titan monsters. So, give some, get some. You know what I'm saying?
How did
Jake, great job. Conor McGregor is something else in that movie, dude. He's he is a lunatic, and you can't take your eyes off.
so he plays himself, is what you're saying?
Yeah, very much so. If he was willing to murder people, yeah, absolutely. So that was definitely part of my viewing. And then I did end up watching another movie this weekend, which I'm gonna end on Monkey Man, Dev Patel's first directorial debut. I apologize. He also stars in it. It is about a young boy who grows into a man and seeks revenge on those who have done wrong against him. I don't want to say too much, but they've done some serious wrong against him and his family. And the whole story is him trying to find a way just to get to these people. And the Monkey Man is apparently a Hindu myth of a character within that religion, in which he is a super powerful, super strong warrior that is half monkey. And he sees a shiny mango, reaches out for it and eats it, but it turns out to be the sun. So he gets punished by the gods and stripped of his power. And there's a lot of metaphor and comparison between the main character and
That story.
Yeah, and it's really fun to watch. It's got some crazy action scenes that are kind of believable, where you're like, I've always wondered why people don't do that, why they don't do that in a movie, or how come they always do this. That's not realistic. You see in this movie some very unrealistic things, like a guy getting beat so badly he should have been dead but still living. But at the same time, they're using weapons and tactics where you're like, oh yeah, if it was like anything to survive type of thing, this is what I would
use it. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very much a John Wick type of movie. I highly recommend this one. I would give an 8. Yeah, it was a good watch. 8.0. Very good watch. It's better than average. It's a lot of fun. I think some people will get hung up on some of the political parts of the movie, but I really didn't. It doesn't change the way the story flows, so to me, it was fine. Yeah, highly recommend that one. I don't want to give it away because you should go watch it. And
I do want to watch it. It's an A24 film too, right?
It is an A24 film. Yeah. So sooner or later, it'll also be on Max.
Hell yeah, that's what I was.
Very big. So it might make it to Max sooner rather than later if it doesn't have legs in the theaters.
Well, I wouldn't be mad at that. But also, I would love to support. So maybe check it out. So
Yeah, I would definitely say try to support, but if you can't, you might have a chance. This last one I didn't want to mention, but what I will say, while I'm waiting for Jason to watch, those of you who are watching X-Men 97, I teared up on this last episode. I was very invested, and I did not see it coming. How quickly events were turning. I'm sure comic readers saw this coming from a mile away, but I was very taken aback, and things are moving very quickly on this show in a way that I did not expect at all. I have been thrown for a loop in a very good way, but just very much like, wow, they're doing whatever they want with this show, and they are going with some amazing storylines, albeit
So,
to the point where I was very sad at the end of
so
this
it's
last.
hitting.
Oh, it's hitting. It is. It is one of the better things that is on right now. If I
All right,
were
all right. You
to
got me sold, man. I'll start binge watching it right now.
right now, right now. But that's it for me, Jason. You got anything else for our listeners?
Yeah, well, one quick thing. I just want to give a shout out to Love is Blind, season 6. I know it's on Netflix. It is terrible, but good at the same time. The editing is awful. Like you can tell, like it's a reality show, right? It's about people like trying to find love. You hate some of these characters and you're like, what the fuck? Like, but again, reality show, I'm pretty sure producers are telling them to do certain things. The editing is god awful. They're trying to make characters seem like terrible people, right? It gets you hooked. So I can see why people, definitely watch it with if you have a girlfriend, I would recommend watching that because kind of makes you feel better about your relationship, but also kind of you're like, oh hey, you kind of do this sometimes too, right? Like it opens up a conversation for you to have with your significant other, but also like without like fighting about it because you're like, wow, like you don't do that, like that's like way intense, you know what I mean? So it was kind of nice. They do reunions and stuff like that, and like some people are still together because of the show because there's 6 seasons, although it started in 2020 and there's 6 seasons already. Crazy. But yeah, I just want to give a shout out to that. It's terrible, but it's good. That's the best way I can explain it, man. Sometimes it's a 3, sometimes it's a 7. I don't know. It fluctuates for me, bro.
I gotta plug Physical 100 season 2. Then, if we're gonna do some reality shows, check that out, guys. If you want some good reality to watch, it is a reality challenge show. So you see a lot of Olympians and MMA fighters and pretty much every kind of athletes they're from South Korea, all competing to see who is the most physically able as their winner. So it's pretty cool.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that. Like a not the show, but like I've seen that like trailers or something. I don't know. Sounds very familiar.
Yeah, season 2 is out right now. We watched season 1 religiously. Season 2, I've been having trouble getting time to watch it because of all the things we're watching for you guys. But I'm definitely going to make some time to watch it very soon as we are slowing down on our intake of shows right now.
I don't know, man. There's going to be some new stuff coming out. I don't think we're going to be slowing down anytime soon.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for me, Jason. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. Yeah, tune in next week. We got hopefully for another episode. We're done with holidays for a while, so expect some weekly episodes coming out these next couple weeks.
All right. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week for another episode of Revenge of the Pod. Peace out, guys.